Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And welcome to Morning Brew. Wherever you are, whenever you're watching, I do hope it's a good one. And let's see here. Let's get things started off today. Um, yeah, it's Monday. So, ooh, what a day. I've got uh, some physical media coming in, some DVDs that I found for a reasonable price, um, which is a good thing. um, that's one thing I like about Amazon. You can always find a good price on stuff. Um, and so it's one reason I use Amazon. I know some people have an issue with Amazon. Yeah, I understand. That's on them. I'm not wanting to be a hateful channel. I know that's easy to get into. It really is. Um, and I've seen some channels that's about all they do. They do drama and they do hate. And yeah, that's just not me. I mean, I'll get mad at stuff. Yeah, that's a given. But that's just to be always on the hate watch. No, no, thank you. No. And good morning, Mega Cropper. How are you this morning? Good morning, Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Good morning, Dave G Sound. It's nice to have you guys here this morning. If you can, while you're at it, go ahead and hit the like button and share it out if you can on social media. I know that YouTube doesn't always like to share things out. I've gotten a couple of messages telling me that they got notification after the stream was over. So that'll tell you how reliable YouTube's notification system can be. That's another reason why I go ahead and stream on Twitch, because they send out notifications, email notifications, I should say. I probably ought to get my Twitch channel. Ought to have the links put in again. I'd been doing that for a long time, and then when I took a break, I didn't save any of that, and so yeah, I'll have to go back and get the stuff. No big deal. Just probably have to go back to one of the old live streams and do it from there. Of course, today is a lovely Monday morning here. I'm having some coffee. And good morning, Ken Jack Ben, who says, greetings and salutations from Vallejo, California. May the pumpkin be with you always. Well, thank you, Ken Jack Ben. Always good to see you in the chat. And so Dave says, I got notifications. Sometimes I do get them a bit after stream starts. And yeah, that's what happens. It's just, that's what it is. It happens. People are like, well, nah, it doesn't happen. Yeah, it does. I mean, I've literally gotten a notification to bird stream, and then, oh, it's been on for an hour. What? Great. And it wasn't that I was looking back for notifications from an hour ago. All of a sudden, it's just like, there it is. Oh, cool, bird's on. Click on it. Been on for an hour. What the hell? Good morning, Chester. Let me go ahead and share this StreamYard link out, and I'll get back to what Chester is saying. He says, Cap, good morning. Good, amazing, great, and super morning. Wow. Somebody's had a lot of coffee this morning. I hope. Or is just a very good, very happy, very positive person. Ken Jackman says, I was up, so I decided to come by and say hi. I'm going to bed. I've been up too long, waiting to get tired, and I had a migraine all day, so I took a nap once and it went away. Ah, yeah. Yeah, I hate migraines. I do. Ugh. Been a while since I've had one, thank God. Because they get severe. And pumpkins to all. And a good night. Thank you very much, Kinjack Ben. Always good to see you in the chat. Always good to see the pumpkins in the chat as well. Before I forget, let me go ahead and pin that message so that if anyone does come in and wants to come on the panel, they're able to. I like that little bridge at night. Good night and God bless, says Kinjack Ben. And same to you, Kinjack Ben. You take care. Good night. God bless. And sleep well. And wow. It's funny. You know, I wish I had the gift of gab like a lot of people do on YouTube. That's the funny thing, because there are several people I know that they can keep talking about whatever for any amount of time. Like a lot of times I'm sitting here going, oh God, please shut up. Just shut up and let somebody else do the talking for a minute, particularly when they're on a panel full of people. I, however, do not have the gift of gab. I can bullshit a little now and then, but gift of gab is not something I am blessed with. Yeah, like I said, I've had times where I'm sitting here listening to a stream and going, "Oh God, shut up!" Here I am. I'm wanting to promote the positive. I'm talking about a negative thing. So yeah, I'm sorry. But it's always good to So it's good to listen to other live streamers out there. You can get some ideas, or um, just kind of sit back, relax, and just watch what others do. Uh, Sometimes I'm inspired by it. Sometimes it's like, well, it works for them. It wouldn't work for me. But at least, it's fun to watch. And Kapla Bird, who says, just woke up. I hope you slept well, Bird. You just missed Ken Jack Ben, who went to bed. And if you are able to, assuming that Mama Prey is awake, you're more than welcome to come on this morning if you can and want to, Bird. Yeah, eventually I'm going to have to get some things straightened up, and you know I got some bins I need to organize. That I mean, stuff is in there, it's just not organized correctly, so that'll take time. Good morning, Crimson Mist. How are you this morning? Hopefully your shower went well. Dave says, with all the live streamers, I rarely turn on the TV anymore at all. I can tell you it has been at least 3 weeks since I've turned on the TV. I hadn't even I don't miss it. I'm going to get rid of my box. There's no reason for it. It's just costing money to have to be able to watch TV that I don't watch. So why have it? It's not really a necessity. So yeah, it's time for it to go back. And people talking to each other in chat this morning. That's good to see. So, and here's Bird.
Hello, world. Good morning. Oh, man. I feel like I've been beat up, Jeff. Feel like I've beat up.
Wasn't it?
Mama Price says it wasn't her.
That doesn't surprise me. She would be doing the beating up of anybody who did.
Oh. Oh, man. I haven't, well, I watched the TV, but I watched the TV just to watch like Orville and For All Mankind and Better Call Saul. Just to watch, there are still things I watch on quote unquote TV, but it's streaming TV. It's not real TV.
Yeah.
I don't know when the last time I watched a non-streamable TV show, except for like right now, we had the TV on just to keep the morning news on, just to get some idea of what's going on around locally and around the world. But I mean, we don't trust the news all that much, but I do keep it on. Just God forbid there was a bridge collapse or something, they would tell us about it.
Right.
So that, I guess, mostly every day in the mornings, I put the news on for an hour or so. But other than that, yeah, I mean, if TV shut down, it really wouldn't affect me. The broadcast networks.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I have stuff that I've streamed on the TV, but just watching TV itself, no, it's been at least 3 weeks.
Oh, Star Trek: The Next Generation. The episode where the Romulans came back. I forget what it was called, but where they defrosted the people who had. They found a ship. Data found people cryogenically frozen on a ship, and he defrosted them
Mm-hmm.
without Captain Picard's permission.
Right.
And one of the guys asked, "Oh, where's your TV?" And he said, "I believe he's referring to television." It was a fad that only lasted about 100 years. Looks like it's about true. Surprise. I mean, that was in the 90s, 80s even. That was the 80s. So
Mm-hmm.
nobody thought television was really going anywhere in the 80s. There
No.
was no replacement. They were absolutely right.
And good morning, Chester. How are you this morning? Well, I do find it funny. There are things that have happened on Star Trek that I've been surprised have happened, in real life.
I mean, Simpsons gets things right all the time, but Star Trek, I mean, I mean, guess you could say, well, cell phones, but
Mm-hmm.
that's really because the engineers and the scientists saw it on Star Trek and then decided to make it like that best they could. In some cases, a little better, but that's kind of self-fulfilling.
True.
You plant the idea, well, if you can be in communication everywhere, wouldn't that be something? But what do we need to do that? Well, once you get satellites and the technology comes together, radio stations to repeat the signal.
Yep. You really got, all it took was the right technology, and it's now there. A lot of times people are going, okay, now I want to turn it off.
Dave G says Tom Paris liked TV for some reason. Yeah. Hard to imagine going down. Imagine going down to the holodeck and having it programmed as a living room with the TV to watch. Yeah. Some people, but you know what? I look at it like some people, and I have one myself. Claim vinyl. Vinyl is so much better recording playback technology than like CD or something.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I like vinyl too because it looks cool. It's got the little imperfections in the sound, but it's not better. I mean, you can't argue and literally say it sounds better. It purposely sounds a little worse. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, people got used to in movies those little black specks and stuff when you
Yeah.
watch a movie through a projector. Then they make a filter to copy that for digital because people got used to it. That's what they want to see, even though it's a digital projector can do it 100% crisp image. People don't want it too crisp. People want their little imperfections because we're an illogical species.
Yes, quite.
And that's actually a great example of how we're an illogical species.
I mean, you're going to have people like Mr. Lundell who's going to argue that vinyl is better, which I would, you know, um, disagree that it's better because it's, I would say it's probably more real sounding than the compressed digital sounds that you can get on CD.
Well, a CD sound isn't compressed. So just to be clear, there's a difference between compressed and digital. CD sound is digital but not compressed. MP3 files, those are compressed and
Compressed,
digital.
yeah. Yeah, but see, a lot of the CDs are now on MP3.
Again, if you do an MP3 file, you can do an MP3 file at 320 bit rate. That's basically uncompressed, but still, it's not, it's digital. That said, I don't know how many places release a totally uncompressed MP3 file. Me personally, I couldn't hear the difference between 128K and 256K on MP3 files. Hell, I really barely hear the difference at 96K, which was, generally only used for audio, like if you're learning Spanish or something. Music, they tend not to keep that low. And it's all about bit rates with digital.
Mm-hmm. I always had it at least at like, what was it, 320?
320 is the highest it could go.
And because that had the best sound for me. So it's like,
Maybe you're an audiophile and can tell the difference between little stuff. I, on the other hand, think that stereo sound is as fancy as it gets. I mean, I don't even attempt to set up a 5.1, whatever the hell that means, home theater. It's 5 different speakers and a
mm-hmm,
bass. I
mm-hmm.
don't know. Is that what it means? 5.1?
Basically, I don't know what it means, but you do have the 5 speakers and you have the bass.
The bass enhancement, I get. I understand that. I do hear it, more bass, but the 5 front left, front right, back left, back right, like what center? What the hell does these mean? Like why? I guess I don't understand is that if you could put headphones on, shouldn't headphones be able to do everything any other speakers could do? I mean, it's all about the sound coming to your ear. You have 2 ears. So why do you need more than 2 speakers? How does that possibly? I don't understand how more than 2 speakers other than a bass assist. How does that possibly change anything? You should be able to simulate anything with 2 speakers for each ear, one for each ear.
Well, theoretically, if you've got something that's happening on the right in front of you, technically the sound should happen on that speaker, not on the right behind you, because that's not where the sound's coming from. And vice versa. If its sound is coming from the left and back, that's where it should come from. Like if there's a car crash behind you on the left, you'll hear it there primarily.
I don't know. So it seems mysterious to me. I mean, I guess my brain can tell where a sound comes from
Mm-hmm.
in front or behind me, but I feel like that's something that could be simulated correctly if they wanted to, because I mean it's just the difference it takes for the signal to reach the sound to reach my ears, the
True.
difference that my brain figures it out. I don't know really how my brain figures out if something takes place 10 feet in front of me versus 10 feet behind me, other than the fact that it ties it in with me looking and say, okay, well, I don't see that this the source of that sound, so it must be taking place 10 feet behind me rather than 10 feet in front of me.
And good morning, King of Passions YouTube. Or YT, I should say. King of Passions YT. Passion. King of Passion YT, excuse me. Don't forget there's a difference between file compression in audio recording.
King of Passion, YT. I don't know. I don't know what the YT stands for. Everybody assumes it's YouTube, and that's what I would have assumed.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched a video once, and the same video that informed me that number, the number with the two eights, is a bad number. They also claim that YT is of a similar venture definition, but for the life of me, I don't understand their reasoning for it. So I just, like I said, it's paranoid. Everybody somehow is racist. And King of Passion, I'm not claiming you are by any means. I don't know you. But this video was quite disturbing, and it makes you think anything you don't understand is a call out to the bad guys from World War II. So now I see those people everywhere. Thank you. You stupid video.
uh,
Good morning, NB Geek.
yes, good morning, NB Geek. How are you? Okay, let's see here. Oh, okay, he is backstage. Okay. I had something covering the screen, so I didn't actually see. I didn't hear anything. Good morning.
Good morning, Cap. I know that's why I said I know sometimes that damn Bing doesn't go off worth a crap.
I didn't hear the ding either.
Hey, Bird, how's New York?
New York is still here, for what it's worth.
Well, if it's any consolation, I take New York over California. How was your guys' weekend?
I mean, it was wonderful.
Well, we went down to. Have you guys ever heard of a Cap? You might have heard of it because you're not, where you live. Have you ever heard of Holiday World?
No, other than you mentioning it before, I've never heard of it.
Oh, okay. So basically, Holiday World is about 2 hours from me. and it's basically got different themes for different holidays, like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, 4th of July. I think a few others as well. It's broken up into a water park and a theme park with roller coasters and rides and stuff. And we went down there for a day, and well, the everybody had a blast. I can't do roller coasters because of my acrophobia now. It's just worse. But all honesty, it was mainly for the kids. And the best part was with my son being 15, my daughter being 11. While my wife and I were taking care of stuff, we're just like, look, go, stay together, be back here. We'll meet right here in about 4 hours. So in case they wanted to get lunch or something, and then determine what was going on next.
Yep.
And yeah, and mostly my wife and I just kind of did our own thing. I did have to stop after a while because I made the stupid mistake of wearing my sandals and not my shoes. And let's just say that was not good for walking around that long. So by the time I needed to take my meds, my evening meds, sorry, I told my wife, I was like, I can't do anymore. I'm gonna go to. Yeah, I went to the hotel, got us checked in, and we had double room. We had adjoining rooms because the kids are bigger and everything. There's no reason to have everybody bunk up. And no, it was a great time. My wife and the kids stayed for about another 2.5 hours. They rode a bunch of roller coasters and had a lot of fun. Everybody slept good. Got up the next morning, headed back home. I'm honestly only up right now because we're gonna pick up my dogs in about an hour, and then I'm probably gonna go back to sleep because my sleep schedule kind of got all kinds of jacked up. Yeah, you know what? This is actually, as far as theme parks go, actually very reasonably priced. The food and
Really?
souvenirs are not outrageous, and there's actually drinks are free.
Wow,
Okay. What?
that's crazy.
That is
I'm not.
crazy.
Oh, I'm not joking. You do not pay for water, Pepsi, any of that stuff. About the only thing I saw they sold was bottled water if somebody wanted it. But past that, you go to the food centers, and they got lots of different food centers around, and you do not pay for them. You just grab the cup, fill it up with ice, and fill it up with whatever Pepsi beverage you want.
Oh, it's Pepsi, huh? There's
Yep.
always a catch.
Well, hey, there's always Dr. Pepper. There's
Uh,
but I mean, hey, I mostly had either water or the sobe water. And it was a lot of fun. I was actually surprised at how reasonable it was. Also, they do something I hadn't seen in a long time. If you leave the park, you can get stamped to come back in that day. It's not something I'd seen in a while.
that's nice.
That is.
It really was fun. My kids took the time, young kids going in, they have to wait in line and stuff, but they got on pretty much every ride they wanted to.
Mamo Prey had a idea for a similar theme park when we were growing up. She always wanted to create Santa in Vacation Land, which would be a Florida-based theme park that was
What
all Christmas. And Santa, it was Santa's vacation spot when he's not in the North Pole. He would be there. It would be like Santa on the beach would be like the logo. And she just talked about it.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned that because the name of the town it's in is called Santa Claus.
There you go.
I'm not
Cup,
joking. And here's the funny
Flam
thing.
Mexican Iron Man.
Good morning, Mexican Iron Man. Good morning,
Chili
Chili
Chow.
Chow.
Hola, Iron Man Mexicano. Yes, the crackers are up early.
So the question is, Mexican Iron Man, would the shot of espresso go in the tequila or would it go
I think it
beside it?
follows.
So we're taking a
Okay.
tequila shot and an espresso shot.
Basically, yeah.
That could work.
That's why I asked if he wanted it mixed or if they were separate.
I do know this from back in the espresso's the chaser. Nice. I do know this from back when I was I was a kid, about 17, 18. Not a good idea to mix tequila with Kool-Aid. But maybe
Go ahead. I have no idea why, but go ahead.
oh, we were that drunk.
Ooh.
We were that drunk to think of that. Hey, guys, I want to read a post to you that says, it talks about Gen Xers
Go for
that
it.
I just saw. Do you mind?
No, not at all. Go for it.
All right. This is what it said. I saw this on a millennials post. I don't mess around with anyone over 42. They're built different. Their families had them formally trained in something by the time they were 2. They had keys to the house by the age of 5. They could cook full meals at 7 and were pretty much self-sufficient at 9. They left their house at dawn every summer morning and don't come back till nightfall and survive all day on water from garden hoses. They might get a sandwich on the off chance somebody's parents had went shopping. They spent 3/4 of their lives by themselves with a parent maybe checking in on them twice a month. Most of them have evaded at least one kidnapping attempt, and they know 15 ways to remove blood stains from clothing. They, the real fuck around and find out people.
No, I do remember the days of going out at dawn and not returning till later on in the day. And
what was the rule? Once those streetlights come on, that was when your ass got home. Nobody was calling you on a phone. All you needed to tell them was, hey, I'm going over to Johnny's house. If you went anywhere else, then that was, going over to Johnny's house, but didn't guarantee you stayed there.
Exactly.
My parents only had the rule was if I went in the house, I had to tell them. And yeah, I made that mistake once. See, that's the other thing too. We generally only made a mistake once.
Yeah. If you make that mistake once, you find out. And yeah.
Yeah, it was very rare we fucked up doing the same thing twice. If we did, it was like what, years apart between the two?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, hell, there was a time I could remember. I had code with my mom. If I asked to stay somewhere, that meant I didn't really want to stay.
Oh, yeah.
And to say no, I have to come home. If I wanted to stay, I would just say I'm staying over here, blah, 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 blah.
Hey, I'm going to go spend the night at my friend's house at Zach's. Okay, see you Sunday night.
Exactly.
And that was on Friday.
Yeah. And I'd usually go over to this one friend's house. He and his sister usually had a group of friends coming over Friday night and leaving on. Well, some of them would leave on Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them would leave on Saturday evening, and some of them would just stay through until Sunday afternoon.
Yep, I remember those days. Nowadays, they've got GPS trackers on their kids. But then again, now we didn't have also another thing. If we did something stupid, there was no proof because there were no cameras, and we were the generation of like we didn't even talk about what we did bad, except for the people who were involved. Sure as hell didn't brag about it.
Oh no.
This posting on social media shit, the stuff you screw up. I'm like, boy, you are just giving evidence for the cops, you dumbass. No, also the worst part is, can you imagine some of these people who do this shit and they do some kind of freaky stuff on there? You know,
Oh.
someday they're gonna have kids and their kids are gonna see it and be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, Mexican Iron Man says, yeah, I saw that post. It's totally true. It's my life story. I was a latchkey kid with a single mom who worked 2 jobs, and I rarely saw her.
Yeah. Oh my god, I haven't heard the term latchkey kid in a long time. Yeah, my mom and dad worked, but there was a lot of times, they sometimes one of them was in between jobs. Oh, also, our parents weren't too proud to take a job to have a successful job, and then when times were tough, they weren't too proud to go work at a McDonald's sweeping the damn floor to pay for the food
Mm-hmm.
on our table.
Yep.
My dad was a mechanic, but when shit was going sideways, he got a job he got a job at Channel 47 down in Jacksonville, Florida, and basically what he was doing was putting the kids programs in for us, which was actually kind of cool for me as a kid because then I got to have a little bragging rights that my dad was the one putting the cartoons on for us. Hey, I mean, come on, as a kid, that was just awesome.
Exactly.
That's good times. Ah, got 45 minutes before I can pick up my puppies. I miss them. It's so weird not having them at the house.
Enjoy the peace and quiet because as soon as they get home, they're going to be rambunctious.
Oh, yeah, I know. But the nice thing is, once we got that fence extender out, it's made a world of difference because, and not so much for Luke and Jade because they're much older, but with Maxine and Gizmo being herd dogs, they like to go around and control the perimeter and mark territory, or at least Gizmo does. And I tell you what, before we put up that extension, Gizmo would go all around the property. And our neighbors' dogs, they are like little barkers, and they were barking at him. He literally walked across over to them and just stared at them, and basically gave them, "What the fuck you gonna do? Look."
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what they didn't do? You know what they didn't do when he was standing there? They didn't freaking bark at him.
Oh, of course not. And good morning, Hector the Game Collector. How are you this morning? It was GPS trackers are called phones that parents pay for. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Or the game systems that they play. Interestingly enough. It's nice having those smartphones available, isn't it? Yeah. Or not. I prefer my phone to be dumb, not know anything, just call out and take calls in. That's about it. But I think they're phasing those out They like having all the information. Hmm. Oh, lovely. The kids are here. School starts next week, I think. Why not? Okay. So, how is Mama Prairie Bird?
She's okay. She just went outside with Sassy. I just got an email that I opened up while you were on. My Social Security statement came in. So annual statement. So I clicked on it, and for whatever reason, they put certain years together, like 1991 through the year 2000. They report the combined total. And then 2000 through 2005 or 2001, 2005, they report that as a combined total. And then every year since, they report as just this single year.
Right.
And the total. Well, the year 2000 is when I first started working at my actual career job that I had until I got sick. So all the years before it, I had total made, I think, $2,800, or something like that, technically on the books.
Right.
So that's nothing. Then the 5 years that I was working, I
made a lot more than $2,800.
I made a lot more than 2,800. I was just, my mouth was open, because if I was making what I made now, then I would feel like I had fucking hit the lottery. And I was a single guy granted, I had a lot of debt. I had a lot of debt. I mean, I did pay off my college loans and everything over those first few years. So I guess that's why I never felt like I was making all that much, because whatever I was making, I was paying down student loans and credit cards and whatnot. But goddamn. And then for the next few years, between 2005 and 2009, again, any one of those years would completely change my life. If I could go back and do one more year, just one more year at what I used to get paid. And then, of course, after 2009, it all turns to zeros. There's like $5 here or there. It was particularly, my LLC had a particularly good year or something, but I mean, reality is it doesn't. So.
Anybody else besides me grew up on hot dogs and mac and cheese for lunch? Or maybe PB&J as well.
Oh, yeah.
We had our fair share of PB&J. Growing up was, we did not have, well, growing up, when we first started growing up, Dad O'Prey had a really nice business. Things were well, but then the second half of, say, teenagers to that, like, when I was 12, 15, things started going badly. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife was very fortunate in one area. She got to grow up with both her parents still in the house until her mom passed away in February. and then pretty much grew up in one house. I have to say, there are certain things she had I am kind of envious of. My parents divorced when I was 9, and I swear, between Illinois, Tennessee, West Virginia, Florida, you know, and then bouncing around those states, and then of course, sometimes we had to move apartments because money was tight, and we had to go move to a different place. It just, but I don't blame my parents for that. They had to do what they had to do, and the priority was always, see, this is where I got my work ethic from. Uh, Never be too proud to take a job, no matter what it is. And the priorities are food on the table and roof overhead. Those are just the values I was taught. And really, my parents didn't say it in words, they said it in their actions.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing my parents did that I was fortunate, even after they divorced, they never used me against each other. They were always civil. And I see some of these families now that pit the kids against mom and dad, and I'm disgusted by it. I'm like, why are you doing that? Well, he's a piece of shit. Well, okay, so you guys are divorced. Does that really need to be on the case? Unless one of them's an abuser, that's a whole different ballgame.
Right.
So when does school start for your nephews?
Next Tuesday, I believe.
Now the school up here started early. Well, I guess early by the normal standard. They started last week. I don't know why, but they did.
I'll be back in a bit. Sorry.
No
No
problem,
problem,
Bird.
Bird. Yeah, they started last week. We're not starting up homeschool until, let me check the calendar here. No, the calendar. The calendar. Come on.
I'm surprised the kids aren't wanting school back.
We're not doing Monday the 29th, the day after my daughter's birthday. After she turns 12, we're starting back up. And we my wife and I talked too, and I told her this time, I said, listen, this is what I think we should do. Um, most of the years we've been kind of splitting the making the curriculum up. I took certain areas, she had certain areas. I decided this year, I said I want her to take full control of that, because she's just
Mm-hmm.
she's better at this. She's better at that than I am. And I feel that if she has full control over it, she can really put the whole curriculum together and not have to adjust things to accommodate what I was coming up with. Now, of course, she shows me what we're doing. We go through, we make some changes on the preliminaries from time to time, but I wanted her to have total control of it, for the simple fact I felt she was the best person for it.
Right.
She's like, but you're still going to help me teach. I said, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to help you teach. I'm like, I just think it's best if one person creates the schedule curriculum.
I tend to agree. That way, there's a solid curriculum there. Whereas there's, I don't know, it just sounds more controlled that way.
Exactly. It's not two people making two abbreviated schedules. So yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. And this year we're adding in, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, field trip days. We're gonna put some more of those in there, because my wife's had quite a bit of time to look up like historicals. Like, we could drive to see Lincoln's, home log cabin. Something I've always wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And there's if it's within a 2-hour drive, that's going to be something we're going to do.
Right.
And that's, yeah, just like those field trips we took as kids.
I can remember taking a field trip as a kid. Of course, some of them it was just the funny thing is, at the time I thought, oh, this is boring. Now I look back and it's like, God, that was fun.
I know sometimes you go back on some of those, you think about it, it's like, man, I didn't, and I've said this a lot as I've gotten older. I said, man, I didn't appreciate that as much as I should have as a kid.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of times you influenced by others that are there that are, oh, this kind of sucks, and it just
You know, the
sometimes you
exciting,
listen.
yeah,
Go
the
ahead.
most exciting ones were things like, going to the zoo or going to the aquarium. Those were always fun. I always
Oh
look
yeah,
forward. I always look forward to going to those. I didn't probably pay much attention to the tour guide, but let's be honest, when you're that age, you don't. You're just sorry, you're more focused on the animals and stuff or the aquarium life.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember going. Oh, I remember going to the museum one time. The funny thing was, when I was a kid, it was boring. Of course, I was going with a tour guide who sounded like he was one of the teachers who would, talk and drone on and on and on and just go the most monotone voice. I can't do a monotone voice, but it would just go on and be so absolutely
Bueller,
boring.
Bueller, Bueller. Yeah, that tone. I know what you're talking about. I think as I got a little bit older, or certain other field trips, certain tour guides were very animated,
Mm-hmm.
and those were the fun ones. That's really what made the trip, was when they were animated. They were excited or passionate about what they were talking about. And that energy kind of the kids could feed off of.
Yeah, in fact, there was one place I used to go with a friend of mine. This is years ago. See, I went to the museum before, but I didn't realize because we weren't going all over. We just went to certain areas. Well, in the museum, they had a an old fashioned Coke stand where you could
Mm,
sit and have an old fashioned drink, and I mean old fashioned, where they had the little levers and they mixed things, and you know that was where I had my first real cherry Coke, and we're not talking like the stuff that Coca Cola puts out.
a
We're
real
talking.
cherry Coke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had a real cherry Coke. For those of you who don't know what we mean when we say a real cherry Coke, I'm sorry, there's just no way to explain it other than it is one of the best goddamn drinks.
Yeah, the
But
stuff Coca Cola puts out is just like, I don't know what the
uh,
hell it is. No.
it's what it is. But a real cherry Coke, maybe we should Google that recipe. Oh, it's funny you mentioned that. It's funny you mentioned that about the levers cap, because over here at the school about a week ago, they had a real nice car show going on.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the cars that was there was like an old 30s moonshiner car. and it had one of those, like kegs on the back. And of course, I had to ask the question. I was like, "Does that thing work?" And she goes, "Watch this." And she, hits the lever, and the water comes out. And she says, "It didn't. It was originally just a prop, but everybody kept asking if it worked. I set it up to where it would work." And I just thought that was, and really, they were just, and my most favorite type of truck, some people had that, my most favorite truck, the 1950 Chevy look with the wooden bed frame. I was like, oh my God. If I
Oh,
ever, if I ever could, I would buy one. I don't even care if it's a replica, I would buy it.
trying to think if there was a vehicle that I would want.
A 1955 Chevy truck, that would be my vehicle. Cherry red, of course.
Of course.
But yeah, it was real nice. Unfortunately, it was hot as hell that day, so I felt bad for those folks. I was only out there 30 minutes, and I was like, okay, I'm going back to my house. And my house was literally like 150 yards away at best.
And good morning, Jeff B, who says good morning from an ex-soda jerk. And that's what they were called, soda jerks.
You ever wonder if Jeff B is actually Jeff Bezos?
No, I never
thought of
have.
that. Nah, never came to my mind. Oh, Crimson Mist has something interesting, Cap.
See all the soda shops in my hometown that have opened in the last 10 years. Ooh. Good morning, Pacific 414. How are you today?
Okay, Crimson Mist, I got to ask, where are you at? So I know if I can maybe drive there.
And no, Day G, it wasn't that old fashioned.
I'm sorry, but I know what he's talking about too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The little B is just what the real Jeff Bezos would point out.
What about you, Bird? Did you ever go on a field trip that you really enjoyed as a kid?
Field trips. Field trips. Oh, I mean, we went to the Twin Towers and I freaked out. I wouldn't even go up the escalator to get to the elevator to go to the top. I stayed down. Luckily, Mama Pray used to come on all the trips as a chaperone. So there was like 3 kids who didn't want to go up. So she stayed with us because she didn't want to go up either.
Yeah,
Same thing happened at the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. There are kids who get very scared about going up those heights. I mean, I'm sorry, but as a guy who's acrophobic, I can understand that.
The Statue of Liberty trip was probably my favorite, not because of seeing the statue, but because this kid I really didn't like at the time. He was like my nemesis, and they caught him coming out of the girls' bathroom. Like he couldn't find him anywhere, and then somebody was standing outside the girls' bathroom, and he comes out. Like, what were you doing in the girls' bathroom? He's like, I didn't know it was the girls' bathroom. And then the whole class just teased him for like the rest of the year.
Oh God!
Probably the rest of his life.
Oh
Until
God!
he
It came
grew up
out.
to became a cop.
Oh God! A boy came out of the girls' bathroom. Nowadays, you can't even point that out.
Yeah.
Fuck.
You need to explain, but
Oh,
that the teacher
the teacher
now,
was a man.
and he's looking
And
for
he-
the group.
He's looking for the group.
Why would the group be in the girls' bathroom with the male teacher? I mean, it like didn't make any sense to anybody at the time. he just was lost, and
Poor kid.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we never let him live it down.
Yeah, nowadays you can't even question that, or you're not supposed to. And I'm like, oh fuck you. I'm so tired of this. You need to be taller and show people respect and understanding. Go fuck yourself. I didn't get any. We didn't get any of that growing up.
The same kid clogged the toilet on what was a 2-night or a 2-night field trip. We went to some like, I don't know, place in the woods. We had
Mhm.
like I forget what it's called. It's in the Poconos. And poor kid, he clogged the toilet the first night.
The best trip I think I can remember was actually not Disney World my first time. I found Niagara Falls to be one of my most memorable trips. Especially at night when they have the lights going on, especially at Horseshoe Lake Falls. I'd never seen. Actually, I think I know why. I had never seen a waterfall before, ever, and just seeing that was just amazing to me.
Got a great view of Niagara Falls. Sis Prey went up to college. She went to SUNY Buffalo.
Oh
And I
yeah.
was up there quite a few times, but the time they went to see the falls, I didn't go. So
Mhm.
next time, she's like, oh, I'll show you next time you come up. Well, next time it was the middle of the night. It was cold. Everybody was miserable. I was like, well, what about the falls? And she pulled over on the fucking highway.
Yeah.
Like, get out. Look. And like literally cars are going by at 70 miles an hour. I'm on the shoulder of the road looking at the falls. I'm waiting to get killed every time a tractor trailer passes us. I was like, okay, I'm looking. I could barely get a picture off, and that was it. Get back in the car, and we drove away, and that was the closest I came to Niagara Falls.
Yep, go
Years
figure,
later,
folks.
I went back up to Buffalo to meet a friend I had,
Mhm.
and we were supposed to go see the falls. But well, it was a friends with benefits situation, and we never got to the falls. And you know what? I think I'd rather have seen the falls. I'm still pissed I never did. I always thought, well, I'll see it eventually, but no. And then I got sick, and now that's it. So no
Good
falls.
morning, Robert Rose Jr. Good morning, Carlo Albanese. Carlo Albanese, what are you doing? Of course, he says, "Hail on Kroga." I mean, I'm sorry. I always just put that in there because, yeah.
You know, I did.
I don't think he actually said that.
You know, I had a revelation during this vacation. Oh, look who showed up before his own stream.
Loki says, Bird and his friend with benefits. That's a story I want to hear about. A long, long story.
Hello, Stone Loki. How are you? I'm gonna listen to your show at 9, but I'm not gonna get there till probably 9:30 because I'm picking up my puppies. So also, Cap, I'm gonna get off in about 10 minutes because they open at 9 and everybody's chomping at the bit to get the puppies, including myself. You know how it is, man. Priorities.
Oh yeah, and Loki, if you could go ahead and put in the link to the stream this morning, I would appreciate that. I went ahead and added you as a moderator so you could add the link to your stream this morning. Would be most appreciated. I know that there would be a lot of people who'd be going over there after this stream.
Yeah, I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna do a video. I saw something, an article. I can't really remember what I saw because I was just exhausted yesterday. But I'm just gonna check my history and find it because I found an article that about geek culture or something, and I'm like, okay, I gotta talk about this. This is I know what it was now. Nev Campbell turned down Scream 6 because she doesn't feel she wasn't getting paid enough as being the lead in a franchise, and a man would have got paid more. And I'm like, I'm pulling. I'm like, I'm gonna talk about this. This is a fucking thing because because I've got a lot to say about that woman. Because I'm sorry, that's bullshit. You're not leading a franchise. You're leading a failure train wreck. The franchise ended when the trilogy ended.
And
And
good morning, Keely Chow. Thank you for putting in the link to Loki's stream this morning.
yeah, looking forward to that. Have you guys seen anything interesting on the on streaming services that you think people should know about? I don't know, either one of you.
Not myself personally, but there's a lot out there to check out.
I'm working on an old. Actually, what I'm trying to do is I'm working on shows now. I'm not really looking for anything new. The exception was I did stop the show I was watching. I've been watching Burn Notice, quite enjoying that. But I did stop to watch The Sandman because that really is one of my favorite comics, and I overall very much enjoyed the first season. I know why and there's a thing. I understand why people are pissed about the technically as an endless, I can't call it race swapping death, but I know why people were upset about that. And if you guys don't know what Sam is, I'm just going to shut up about it.
I have no idea. Never heard of it. Except when
Well,
you brought it up last time.
No, it's a comic that was written by Neil Gaiman. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Not offhand.
Jeff B, I am gonna say this. I cannot speak for anybody else, and I have gotten back to a point. I will not speak for anybody else. I will not argue with anybody else, but I very much enjoyed Prey. I found it very well made. I found the story believable. I very much enjoyed it. As far as I'm concerned, I put it on par with Predator 2. And definitely the best since Predator 2 we've gotten, in my opinion. And that's what and that is simply what I'm trying to say to people is like, this is just my opinion. I have no interest in influencing people to change their minds.
Absolutely. And I'm going to go ahead and pin the comment because this is to go on over to Loki's Mornings of Mischief and get set up. He's going to be streaming in about 13 minutes. You can catch the pre-stream chat, catch up with people, get to know people, just have a chance to chat. And I do want to thank everybody for coming this morning. Thank you so much. And let me get that. Come on. Really? Please pin chat. There we go. Thank you so much for coming this morning. And have a great day.